What? No, nigga.
Bet.
You gonna take a whole shower?
You want me to take a bath?
No, nigga. Get the fuck out of here.
I need to eat too. I can't.
I need to eat too. I'm about to start this shit.
Oh, we could take turns.
What?
Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's the one and only legend of winning, aka Low, and we're back with the second episode of the new NBA season of the AyoPodcast. Shout out to everybody who's already in the chat. Shout out to everybody who follow me on Twitter. Shout out to everybody who's showing me love. That new check just came in, but I ain't gonna talk about all that. I'm gonna swing it over to the people who always be messing with me in the podcast. Yo, say what's up, Waffle Man.
Yo, what's good? Yo, what's cracking like a jacket smacking? The best in the West, the beast in the East, and we're back and better today.
And you'll tell me if it's echoing. Please tell me. But Agent, call me Agent 000, whatever you call yourself nowadays.
Hey man, what's going on, everybody? All I know is I have a lot of "I told you so"s to go on in this video here, so I'm already prepared.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of stuff I need to say too in this AyoPodcast, but hey, we'll get to that later on. Before we get into the NBA, like we always do each and every week, we got a little Waffle Man segment where he break down what's going on in the NFL, and he share with us, all the news and things that's going on in the other sport that we kind of sort of love. So Waffle Man, go and tell us what's going on in the NFL this week.
Waffle's weekly NFL scoop.
Listen, man, the NBA has returned, bro. The NFL is dead.
Hey,
the NFL is dead, bro. If you want to know anything about the NFL car, listen, man. The only thing you gotta know is that the Seahawks and the Patriots are the only teams you need to look at. That's it, bro. That's all you need to look at. Everything else is dead, bro.
How about the Cowboys?
NBA is back. I mean, Cowboys are doing good too. Tony Romo was supposed to come back, but Dak Prescott still gonna have that job. So let's go, guys.
So no, I guess no NFL is upcoming.
Man, all those hundreds of people that are looking forward to your weekly NFL scoop.
I know, man. Jesus, man.
Ain't nobody in there.
But since we ain't got no NFL news, we're gonna start it right at the tip of the NBA season. NBA started on Tuesday, and a lot of games that were going on this past Tuesday. But the one that was by far before we can get to the one that's by far most memorable, shout out to Anthony Davis for dropping 50 in the season opening. Crazy numbers he was posting up. And shout out to Dame as well. Dame had a performance that was underlooked consistently throughout all sports media. But we see you, Dame. We see you out there putting in that work. So shout out to Dame as well.
Horford dropped 11 2 games straight. That's what's up.
What's that again?
Horford, he dropped 11 points 2 games straight.
And shout out to the great Al Horford, out there balling for the Boston Celtics. Well, I ain't trying to touch on that yet, because we ain't, because I'm gonna fucking spaz out on that man Al Horford. But of course, everybody wants to know about the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs. What we think about what happened. Of course, it's one game. We all understand that. We all understand it's week one. We all understand it's going to take some time to, have the chemistry with the pieces and the teams there. But the blowout was something real. Basically, a 30-point blowout in favor of the San Antonio Spurs over the super team Golden State Warriors. Real quick, before we get into any details, y'all tell me what you all thought about it. We'll start off with Adrian. Go and tell me what you thought about that game, man.
Which game?
The Golden State Warriors game, man. San Antonio Spurs.
That's what y'all always do when I fucking lost.
I always do that?
Y'all always do that. The Golden State Warriors, it was, to be honest, I didn't watch much of it. It got to the point, especially when they were getting blown out, where it just wasn't even fun to watch. It just looked like a team that just didn't have chemistry. But, I mean, reflect when the Cavs first got together with LeBron when he came back, that team was still weak. It was like 20, 25 games in before they got some things clicking. So that team looked like a disaster. When LeBron went to the Heat, that team initially looked like a disaster. They lost to the Mavericks in the final. So there's a lot of it'll take time is the main thing. So anybody, there's people that are going to jump on their necks just for comedic purposes. The Warriors lost, but it's the Warriors, all right? Look at their fucking team. They're going to find ways to win. And if they ever get their chemistry to start clicking, which I kind of hope they don't, then they're going to be a problem.
Huh. Let me tell you what the bottom line is real quick. Here's the bottom line, right? The Warriors' defense and the Warriors' bench is the bottom line. And another bottom line, which is the thing that, people like to overlook because everyone's talking about is the Warriors' first game and the Warriors are playing at home and they got all this talent. But don't sit there and underestimate the San Antonio Spurs, man. I mean, they got legit stars on that team, bro. I mean, I don't know how Greg Popovich does it, but they got people off the bench coming in, dropping 10 points. They got people dropping 20 off the bench. People you wouldn't even expect, giving you some minutes and giving you some impact on the court. And then this man, Kawhi Leonard, man. You talk about a guy who keeps on improving this game. This man just took it to another level this season. I mean, literally, he dropped 35 points that game. I think this game tonight, or one of the other games before, he dropped 30 again. And, he apparently he trained with Kobe in the offseason, and he just looks better and better at offense. I keep comparing him to the other, offensive players in the league and stuff like that. But his offense is coming along now to where it's like, honestly, it's coming to like a great level, which could be elite level, especially since last season you saw his three-point shooting was at like 45 to 49%. So Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge there. Pau Gasol still has to come along and do some stuff, but that team is a really solid team. And I think people underestimate and overlook the fact that it's the Warriors right after they face the Spurs in that game.
Well, the thing that I really, again, tell me if my mic messed up, but the thing that really drew conclusions from that game was, again, I understand it was the first game, and again, they're going to need time to build the chemistry, but to me, what I got out of that game was their obvious flaws were worse than what I initially thought. Like, they legitimately are going to have problems rebounding because Zaza Pachulia, even though he's there, I don't really see him playing too many minutes because of how bad of a defender he is. And like Waffle said about Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi looks like he has taken another step. Like it's kind of weird to even acknowledge the fact that he took another step, but it looks like he took another step, which is great for Kawhi Leonard. It's great for the San Antonio Spurs. It looks like he's going to be a legitimate MVP candidate this upcoming season. I think he was last year as well, but for sure it's going to be, I think, a close race between him and LeBron. On the Golden State Warriors side, there was some promises there. I thought Kevin Durant in the post-up looked really well. I thought, Curry found his way pretty consistently. He was trying to pick and choose when to score and when to be active and when to kind of be more passive. But their problem was going to be defense and rebounding. We saw the problems with defense and rebounding. That was going to be a major flaw for that team, and it was a major flaw, especially up against an elite team like the San Antonio Spurs. So that's a problem that they're going to have consistently. But when people say something about like the chemistry being off, like the Golden State Warriors, they still scored 100+ points. The problem with the Warriors was the defense. That pick and roll defense was garbage. Zaza Pachulia can't play defense. David West looks hella old. And again, you're having problems with defense, and I think that was by far their biggest issue that last game. But again, we're not trying to over-exaggerate. We're not trying to overanalyze. We're not trying to jump to any crazy conclusions. But that right there was an embarrassment right there.
Yeah, I mean, David West, that man looked like a bucket in that game. I mean, you talk about a guy who, could give you some points a few years ago. This guy is just bandwagoning on teams now because that's the only thing he could do to get a championship, and he didn't do anything in that game.
He didn't do not a thing.
But it's his first game, so I mean, I give him some slack.
I don't know if I'm giving some slack here.
But I mean, they do have a lot of new players off that bench, so it's going to take some time, definitely.
All right, AJ, you got something else to say about the game, or?
Nah.
All right, bet. So there you go. We're not going to jump to no conclusions, people, because you already know the San Antonio Spurs are going to win the championship and beat Golden State Warriors in 4 anyway, so they're going to sweep them in the playoffs. But it is what it is. Actually, before we go on, what did y'all, outside of David West, anybody else on the bench look like they were going to give some potential, some productivity? I ain't going to lie, that bench looks terrible now.
Let me see.
On the Spurs?
He's talking about the Warriors.
On the Warriors.
Oh.
Because I swore David West was going to do more than that, but he didn't look like he was going to.
I don't think, honestly, after Livingston and Iguodala, maybe Ian Clark can give you a little bit, but I don't know, man. I believe in Ian Clark, though. I think he'll come around. Yeah. I mean, Verjab is the goal at flopping, so
true.
Maybe he could do something, but that team, that bench, Damn, they're lucky they have Iguodala and Livingston off the bench because they're gonna have to carry the load.
Speaking of benches, I ain't gonna lie to you. Them New York Knicks looking garbage on that bench. Yo, everybody in the chat, go ahead and throw your L's up for me and Waffleman because we took massive L's last week. We sat there and predicted that, and Waffleman had the audacity to convince me to pick the fucking garbage as.
Hey. Wait, time out.
Oh,
is that Michael Bediako in the chat?
say it again.
Michael Bediako. Hey, is that Michael Bediako from Elmont in the chat?
Yo, you bugging right now.
No, I'm being dead ass. Hey, yo, that's Michael Bediako.
That's personal connections.
I know, right?
If that's Michael Bediako in the chat, yo, what's good, boy? You already know who Waffleman is, good.
Anyway, like I said, yo, throw them L's in the chat for me and Waffleman because we picked, for whatever reason, the Cavaliers to take a loss to the New York Knicks. Unfortunately, we were wrong. The Cavaliers and the Knicks, the game was actually pretty close up until halftime, but the bench and the defense really started to show their ugly face in the second half for the New York Knicks, which was a huge problem. However, on the other end, you got the Cavaliers. Kyrie still doing Kyrie things. LeBron still looking great, triple-double. What did you take away from that game outside of the New York the Knicks don't have a bench and they don't play defense?
What possessed y'all to think it was okay to choose the Knicks over the Kings?
I picked them because it's opening night.
Listen, bro.
He was
never
going
know.
emotional, and I didn't think that they were really going to care that much to beat the Knicks.
Nah. I knew they were going to beat the Knicks. I just wanted you to pick them as well.
Didn't?
No, you did not.
Of course, I'm going to pick my own team. Why the hell wouldn't I pick my own team, bro?
Oh, yeah,
Did you pick them to win the finals last year? Oh, they didn't make the finals.
Were they in the finals last year, Agent?
They weren't even in the playoffs.
But wait. Who did I pick to win the finals again? Oh, that's right.
True.
That's right, Coach.
True.
Oh, that's right, Coach.
I mean, we'll get to that point right there.
But speaking on that game, biggest concern, of course, was chemistry reasons again, like the Warriors. These guys haven't. Derrick Rose coming off his civil case only played one preseason game, and that preseason game wasn't like that great. But I mean, it just gotta get down to like the court issues, man. First of all, defense was atrocious. Offensively, the turnovers got to be cut down. But for some reason, I see a lot of players in the NBA turning the ball over way more than they did last season for some reason. I mean, LeBron averaging like 5 turnovers a game so far. But turnovers is going to be a big deal, but I think that's going to come with the offense. In the first half, for some reason, it was close. They were like down by 3 points at halftime, even with all the turnovers and all the defensive lapses. Like I said in my videos, Carmelo Anthony, if you got 11 points in the first quarter and you're balling like that, keep on balling for the rest of the way. I don't want to see him have like only 8 points shooting like that. And then speaking of like the bench, Kyle O'Quinn, man, stop fucking shooting threes. I don't know what possesses NBA players out here thinking that it's a new age and day, thinking that they can shoot threes. You can't shoot threes there. Don't shoot threes. Nobody wants you taking it. I'd rather have Brandon Jennings pull up from half court than you take a 3-pointer. And then, like, we got people coming off the bench who's like, if you're not doing anything off the bench and you're not getting it going, I'd rather see the other players off the bench who actually might be able to contribute better than that. Ron Baker, Kuzminkas. I kept saying that. Y'all niggas in my videos, y'all know, bro. I kept telling y'all about Kuzminkas, but y'all,
I ain't gonna lie, because I thought y'all gonna have more on the bench. But as a side note, the one and only Russell Westbrook out there balling out there, giving us 40 points on 40 attempts. If you had Russell Westbrook on your fantasy team, forget your field goal percentage, yo, because that man,
he's balling. He's balling.
40
he's not balling that good, actually. I mean, he's shooting terrible.
40 attempts, though?
He pulled up 40 times.
I'm telling you right now. My brother just came in and said he was on 40 attempts.
That
he's shooting a lot.
Like a fucking disaster. The team is shooting 40% against the Suns right now. They were so close to losing to the 76ers a couple nights ago. This is the Suns. Now, granted, they got Bledsoe back and their team's looking a lot healthier. You can't lose to the Suns and expect to make the playoffs. there is so much question marks with this team. You can't fucking rely on Westbrook to make all the shots.
You know what's crazy? Because I think we're done with the fucking Cavs and Knicks. That Knicks team is trash. They ain't got no bench. They don't play no defense. I don't care what anybody says about Derrick Rose until he changes his ways, which at this point in his career, he obviously is not. That team isn't going to win. Y'all need a facilitator and somebody who can play D and somebody who's going to stretch the floor, none of which is what Derrick Rose has ever done in his career. So anyway.
Wow.
You need to stop talking about those bum-ass Knicks. Nobody cares about the Knicks right now.
Yeah, them Knicks don't look that good at all. But with the Russell Westbrook thing, it's funny because I said in the video, maybe I was wrong about his numbers, his points going down, but that team is not as good as it was a few years ago when he was carrying that team. He was quote unquote carrying the team when Kevin Durant was out, because that team had Reggie Jackson on it. That team has Serge Ibaka. Like they have Sabonis and Ilyasova at power forward. There's no defense, inconsistent offense, and you're talking about inexperience and Sabonis. There's absolutely no way that front court is better. Cantor's still not playing defense. Cantor allowed Joel Embiid to look like Hakeem Olajuwon within like 20 minutes on the floor when they played the Sixers, and they struggled to beat the Sixers. And here they go again with the Phoenix Suns in overtime. The people who really think that team is going to clearly make the playoffs, that team isn't clearly going to make the playoffs. Even people who said they were going to be still like a top 4 seed.
I don't know about that. They're gonna be struggling in games, but a win is a win at the end of the day.
No, you almost lost. It's not a win; it's a win because
you almost lost. But they're winning.
No, at the end of the day, the result is the same. But if the same problem that is the reason you almost lost to a trash fucking 76ers team, if that problem is still there next game, a coach can't look at his team like, all right, forget it, guys. We just almost lost to the 76ers. A game is a game. We got to play this. No, you'll look at it and be like, what went wrong? Why was it even that close?
And when Russ was not on the court, when Russell Westbrook was not on the court, that team had no offense at all.
I'm looking at the stats right now for the Suns game.
As it should.
Oladipo has a negative 19 plus minus. You know how bad you have to be for you to have a negative 9? He's shooting 7 for 17.
God damn, Westbrook got 47 points. Fuck.
It's bad right now. I mean, Westbrook, he can glow up, but you need a team around you because at a certain point, they'll start doubling you. Life gets harder. If other people can't make shots, they'll start tripling you. And then what you gonna do? You're gonna beat the triple?
That's what happened in Philly. Westbrook will have the ball around like the post. And really, let's be honest, Westbrook makes some really tough shots towards the end of the game in Philly because Gerald Henderson is just a terrible defender. He's not strong enough or tall enough to really guard Westbrook appropriately. But the way that game ended, especially when Westbrook wasn't on the court, it was very obvious that team offensively had problems. Cantor, unless he's getting the ball in the post, he really wasn't scoring. But then again, it was against Joel Embiid and Jahlil Okafor. So those are two legit bigs that he couldn't score on consistently. And then Steven Adams, he had his little moments here and there, but he was missing wide, like straight underneath the basket or right next to the rim shots. Steven Adams, he's going to have his moments, but it's not like – I don't understand why people just think that a player within one offseason or 1 year is going to go from a role player who's giving them some energy in limited minutes, blocks, some rebounds, a little bit points here and there, is going to go from a legitimate optional offense. I don't understand how you think that's going to happen in a year or two. I mean, Steven Adams is fine, but it's not going to happen that quick. And Victor Oladipo, I ain't going to lie, Victor Oladipo disappointed me because I thought he would have been doing more than this, but he obviously can't run off ball. He has to have the ball in his hand to be effective.
That's what I said. He's been like that for his entire career, though, so he's been an all right shooter. But this team's going to be Westbrook's going to have to be dropping a lot of points, assists every game. This is all run by Westbrook's team.
Every game to barely win the game. That don't make no sense at all.
Pause. Just some other highlights on the game. Devin Booker shooting 8 for 23. Bledsoe 5 for 15. TJ Warren 13 for 17, dropped 30. So I mean, it's all over that whole Suns team. They got a lot of depth everywhere. I mean, to be honest, this matchup does look somewhat even if you look at the talent between teams. Of course, there's the shining Westbrook, but past that, I mean, there's Eric Bledsoe on the other. People forget how good Bledsoe is. Don't forget.
He's not playing that good so far.
The Suns team. Look at the Suns team last year, and then Bledsoe's injury. He was out for season. Look at the team afterwards. He has a fucking huge impact on that team. Huge. But anyway, OKC's up on as of now. It shouldn't be as close to the main thing. 2 overtime game. Was it overtime? It wasn't overtime against the Sixers, right?
It wasn't.
Nah, they beat them before overtime, but right now this might go into another overtime. And I don't care what y'all think about Westbrook. At the end of the day, he's not going to be able to sustain this type of energy and this output for an entire 82-game season.
You don't think so?
There's no way.
There's a way. He will.
No. There's no way he's going to average. There's no way he's going to continue to keep putting up 30, 35 to more points along with 10 more rebounds and 10 plus assists. There's no way he's going to be able to do that. And if his numbers start to go down, especially when they start playing elite teams, he's having to do this against teams that aren't even great. Like, these are not good teams. These are not even playoff teams. Both of these teams are teams that are going to be the bottom of the conference, and they're barely winning the games with this man putting up crazy numbers. There's no way, yo.
Well, since we're talking about Westbrook now, you might as well just compare him to James Harden and what happened to him in the Lakers.
So, James Harden, Houston Rockets, face off with the Lakers. That was their first game, opening night in LA. And I think a lot of us thought that James Harden at that point, handling the ball, he's going to have his moments, he's going to have his shine. But I don't think nobody expected 19 assists in opening night for James Harden, Houston Rockets. However, again, just like with Russell Westbrook, it doesn't matter what those players do. And the same thing with Anthony Davis and the same thing with Giannis. Them players are going to put up crazy numbers, and their teams are still going to. This team's still going to lose. The Houston Rockets are a team that everybody's expecting, including me. No, actually, no, I don't think I got them in the playoffs. I might or I might not. I can't remember. But even if I do, it's like towards the bottom of the playoffs. The Houston Rockets are a team that people are expecting to make the playoffs. I don't know really why, because they don't play defense. And then they lose to the Los Angeles Lakers, another team that doesn't play defense. So you literally attempted to have two teams that don't play defense, and one team was going to have to outgun the other, and the Houston Rockets still couldn't do that. And again, I saw that game too. James Harden not on the floor, that team is irrelevant. There's nobody on that team that can do anything when he's not on the floor at all. So the fact he has to be on the floor nonstop and there's no other option out there that can consistently get a shot, but that to me, that just doesn't make any sense. And why people think, again, that team is going to win, I don't know. Hey, Jim, what you think about that? Did you even watch that game? Oh, he gone. Yo, Waffle, you watch that game?
I watched it a little bit. But, James Harden, 17 assists, career high. But I think when you think about the Western Conference, I think they still have a chance to make the playoffs. And that goes the same. Yeah, because I keep saying, like, the West is not a good conference at all. Like, you got like 5 or 6 good teams. Then after that, like the Mavericks, I mean, they're all right. Timberwolves might be able to get into this year, but
I think the Timberwolves have a better chance to get into the playoffs than the Houston Rockets do.
All right, well that might happen. Suns are not going to get in. Pelicans are probably not getting in. Kings are probably not getting in, even though the
Suns aren't getting in.
You think the Suns are getting into playoffs?
No, the Suns are not getting the playoffs. No, they're not.
You don't think so?
No.
Fuck no. What?
I don't know about all that. Because remember last year they were on pace to squeeze in the playoffs before Bledsoe went down. Now Devin Booker not only developed, but they got other guys to build around. They got Dragon Bender. So I think they can if they want to. But first of all, it's all about staying healthy. Bledsoe manages to get injured every year, and then it's gonna take. It's really gonna be a squeeze because teams like Houston, I feel like, are on par with them. Houston, by the way, performed pretty well today. And I'm glad they did. They look like they're about to beat Dallas.
Who they play today?
They beat the Mavericks.
Oh well, I don't know, because that's what we were talking about, Agent. The Houston and Lakers game. I mean, at that point, like that's what you're expecting out of James Harden and the Houston Rockets, is to go out there, run a pick and roll, have high scoring games, high pace, and they still lose to a team that doesn't play defense. Mm-hmm. So if you're losing to a team like that, I don't understand how you expect to win any playoff seeding. But my playoff seeding was Golden State, Spurs, Clippers, Blazers, Utah, Grizzlies, OKC, and Memphis. Not Memphis, Minnesota. And outside of Minnesota, I really don't see Houston snagging. Don't see them taking out any positioning. And if other teams, like you said, if Eric Bledsoe's healthy, I think that team is better. I think the Phoenix Suns are better than Houston. And I think if AD can stay healthy along with everybody else in that roster, then I think the Pelicans have a better chance than making the playoffs.
Who roster they got over there?
Who? The Pelicans?
Name their starting 5 lineup. Can you name anybody on that lineup?
I don't know how they're gonna run it, but they got Drew Holiday in the backcourt. They got Drew Holiday, Tyreek Evans, Buddy Hills, and then I don't know if they're gonna put Lance in the backcourt or in the front court. But then in the front court, you might have Lance as well, Solomon Hill, Quincy Pondexter, Anthony Davis. I don't know who they running at 5 though. Oh, they got TJ, Terrence Jones, and I don't know who they. I guess Omer C at 5 still. I don't know. That to me, that team seems more. That team just seems better to me because again, they can play defense. That Houston team can't play defense, bro.
I just want to point out the Maverick game today. Dirk wasn't playing, so.
Oh, what was the final score of that game? Because if Dirk wasn't playing, then it really don't count.
The Houston Rockets won by 8.
No.
Woo!
So they
Nah, but it was a bigger lead. It was like 15 before like garbage time.
Okay.
But see, the Pelicans don't have like any semblance of a starting lineup. Like Etwan Moulton, Frazier. That's what you got out there with Anthony Davis, Solomon Hill.
Their guards are weak right now because Drew Holiday's out and so is Tyreek Evans.
And they're always weak. They're always getting injured.
Though if those two players come back, they can make a playoff push.
That's what I'm saying. Drew Holiday's not even injured. He's just looking after his.
I know he's not injured, but Tyreek Evans, then they getting injured.
Yeah, Tyreek Evans they getting injured. So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of up in. I see what you're saying, but if we being optimistic about that team, I just think that team has a higher ceiling than Houston does because Houston just doesn't play defense. And as soon as you're talking about depth and you're talking about where a team is weak at, as soon as you take Harden off the floor, and I understand he's gonna be playing crazy minutes, but as soon as you take him off the floor, then immediately that team gets worse. And it's not even like a little bit of a drop off; it's a huge drop off.
That goes for a lot of teams, though. I was trying to fucking tell people. Sorry, I'm going to switch topics here. That the Pacers weren't going to be amazing this year. Some people had them second, destroying the East outside of obviously the Cavs. I was like, yo, do you know how basketball works? Like, it's going to take a minute for them to get used to one another. Keep in mind, this was a team that's been bad offensively for a while. When I say bad, I just mean inconsistent. Today, if I take a look at the stats, Paul George with the awful percentage. The team lost to the fucking Nets. Jeremy Lin almost dropped a triple-double on them. So
should they have fired Frank Vogel?
I don't think they should have.
I don't think they should have.
It's not Frank Vogel's fault. They're missing open fucking shots. That's management. You got to bring in shooters that make shots. That's crazy to me that they fired him. That was the biggest surprise of the offseason to me.
There was because I feel like I think he did a great job for the past like 4 or 5 years. Well, what are you doing?
Oh nah, what a nice ass block by fucking Cantor.
Oh, but going back to what you're saying about Paul George, yo, that's something I didn't told you about though. That Paul George, that man is inconsistent, yo.
What did I say about his offense, man? Inconsistent offense. That
man's offense is inconsistent, yo.
But we knew that though. You say he wasn't good offensively.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm so prepared to jump on that bandwagon. I'm so prepared to like. I got my fucking Paul George gear on and everything. I'm ready to jump on that shit. That man isn't. He's not good, yo.
Gotta cut that out, bro.
He not, yo. He just really. He unfortunately he not. Are they? Who they starting at 5?
I think it's Turner.
Okay. Well, I said they starting Al Jefferson. That's what they taking the L at. Cause that
barely played first.
Coming off the bench.
Okay, good. So let's get into this rant that I feel like me and Agent are gonna go on when it comes to the basketball and I don't understand where the NBA is at. So over the past week, the NBA starts. People gives out, they give out their predictions and their standings and stuff like that. Everybody from, Barkley, and we'll touch upon what Barkley said later on as well, but everybody kind of gives out their standing and where they believe certain teams are at. For whatever reason, there are 2 teams, there's really 3 teams in the East specifically that I feel like are just completely out of place. The Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors, and Atlanta Hawks. To me, those 3 teams, they're not that far enough from each other. I can accept somebody saying that, like if they're not that far away from each other. But if you don't put the Toronto Raptors above those 3 teams, don't understand your logic behind that, because there are people who are legitimately claiming that the Boston Celtics are the second. Some people are saying the first, or potentially could be the first best team in the East, and then saying that the Raptors are like fourth or fifth, or the Hawks are fourth or fifth or sixth or something like that. Charles Barkley didn't even have Atlanta in the playoff standings. He didn't think that they were all locked in the playoffs. I don't understand that logic, because to me, how many teams in the East literally have 2 All-Stars? Think about that. How many teams in the East have 2 All-Stars?
Let me see.
None.
To me, it's only the Cavs. It's the Cavs, Raptors, and in Atlanta.
The Hawks have 2 All-Stars?
I think Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap will be All-Stars this year.
Oh, you're talking about predictions on All-Stars this year?
Yeah, this year.
I don't think they'll get 2 All-Stars, but that's just me.
I think they'll get 2. And for people out there who think that this man Al Horford is going to change a thing in Boston, look at his stat line. Look at what he's been doing in Atlanta for the past 3 years, and you tell me that's what's going to change. 15 points and 7 rebounds is what he's been doing in Atlanta for the past 2 years. You think that's what's really going to change Boston? You think that's what is going to have Boston be in the top seeding in the East? You think that's going to put Boston over the top? Get out of here, yo. Boston is still going to be a team that struggles, and they struggle against the Chicago Bulls the last game, down the stretch, trying to find some offense like they did all year last year, and Al Horford couldn't bail them out. The great Al Horford couldn't do nothing for them but put up 11 points like he used to do in Atlanta. I watched that man's career unfold throughout the past 8 years, and there's nothing there, people. He's a solid defender, a really solid passer, really great passer for his position, actually. Gives you some offense here and there, but there's no way that he's a primary scorer or even the second primary scorer of a team. That man has to be complimenting a superstar or 2 other All-Stars. Because let's even be honest, too. 15-7 shouldn't be giving nobody no All-Star selection. That's why he's not going to be an All-Star this year, yo. That man, no, I can't stand that. But
It's crazy because I think a lot of it is just it's biased, but it's not conscious bias though, because people will watch Boston games. They're popular teams in the NBA that get viewed a lot. But then there's teams that don't get viewed a lot, because on last podcast I said Jonas Valanciunas is a better player than Al Horford, and I wasn't joking. I'm 100% serious about that. Jonas pulled in like 17 rebounds today, or 16, something like that. And last game he had 32 points and 14 rebounds. So I've been saying that Jonas is a beast. And then I gave the example that you should use his per 36, just because I was saying he was getting limited minutes because Dwayne Casey didn't trust him in the fourth quarter. But he's getting those major minutes now. And then people got crazy. I'm like, yo, why is everybody rating this guy Horford so high? I'm curious. He got on the Celtics the last 2 games, 11 points. Agent is just 2 games. I know that. I'm just saying that Al Horford isn't the superstar player that's going to bring the Celtics into the championship. They had a shot at some superstar players, and then, of course, they got snagged away by some other teams. The Celtics are in such – I want y'all to know how much of a fortunate situation that team is in. They have so many valuable picks. It's insane. On top of that, the amount of depth they have so much depth that R.J. Hunter didn't make their 15-man roster, and I think some other teams were looking into picking him up. Woj was tweeting about this. The R.J. Hunter, that guy was cut. So I'm saying this team has potential. So they can develop some of their guys, but it just looks like they have a little bit of everything everywhere. And right now, I said that team needs consistency, and I didn't think Al Horford was the signing that they should have done. Now, granted, I mean, if they have the chance to sign him, might as well. If they can trade him away and get some back from later, it's whatever. But this isn't my GM. This is real life. There's a great chance that teams might not want Horford. He's getting older. He has a pretty hefty contract. And so if things don't pan out for him in Boston, I feel like they just restricted themselves, because it seemed like they had the freedom to, in a couple years, dominate the NBA with the players they had. But it looks like they just gave themselves they gave themselves a tunnel. And now they got to go through the tunnel. And at the other end, if Horford isn't there dropping the numbers that you guys anticipated he was going to drop when you picked him up, it might be looking bad. But I'm going to say it again. Jonas will have a better season. Now, if you still don't believe me, just watch a Raptor game. In fact, watch the highlights, or not even highlights, watch the whole game of the last. Jonas is a phenom on the rebounds. He always finds a way to get himself in rebound position. So it depends what you're looking for in a player. Horford could at least shoot the 3-ball a little bit. Jonas can't do that. But I think Horford, I just want everyone to know, Horford, as of right now, is very overrated if that's people's reason for saying that the Celtics are going to beat the Raptors in terms of the standings.
I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason is they got 48 wins last season, and they're assuming that Al Horford, who's going to add like at least 12 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, he's an upgrade from what they had before at power forward, or if they're playing at center. And Al Horford is going to be at least what? At least three games of winning. So that's how people are looking at it.
Even if he, but this is where like me and Agent get frustrated with, and why I don't understand it, and why Agent don't understand it either. People need to understand it, and I don't understand why they discredit, because I feel like there's 2 teams they consistently discredit in the East, and that's Atlanta and Toronto. I don't understand why people act as if like Toronto wasn't 1 game away from being the first seed in the East. Toronto they were 1 game away from tying the same record with the Cavaliers. So when people make this argument that Al Horford, he's going to add some wins to the team, is he going to add 10 wins? Because if he's going to add 10 wins, then yeah, you're correct. I agree with you. But he's not adding 10 wins to that team. And even if he is, you're still why even be that optimistic about a piece that hasn't even played for this team yet? You're talking about Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, who at this point has had 2 great seasons, back-to-back seasons, where they're actually improving and showing people that they're a legitimate duo. And in fact, you have, like Agent said, you have Jonas, who's becoming a better player. Then you had DeMar Carroll, who wasn't even playing last year. People are picking and choosing who and what team they want to be optimistic about. And I don't understand why you're being optimistic about Al Horford and the Boston Celtics. Is he an upgrade from what they had? Yes, but it's not going to be that big of a difference. Even statistically speaking, it's not going to be that big of a difference. Because in the past 2 years in Atlanta, he was scoring under 20 points, he was grabbing under 10 rebounds. So it's not like we're talking about a huge upgrade. We're not talking about a bona fide all-star. I don't see it with that. And again, Al Horford was on another team very similar, in my opinion, to the Boston Celtics in Atlanta. And nobody over the past 2 years or 3 years or however long Al Horford's been on that team, nobody claimed that Atlanta was a great team. Nobody said that Atlanta was going to be a top 2 or top 3 seed consistently. Nobody never said that. Atlanta makes the playoffs every single year, and Charles Barkley is on TV, and I understand it's Charles Barkley, but Charles Barkley's on TV having a hard time figuring out 8 teams are going to make the playoffs in the East, and Atlanta makes the playoffs every single year. So I don't why are people picking and choosing who they want to be biased with? I just don't understand that. That's what gets me frustrated with the entire thing. It's like, yo, what are y'all talking about?
And I don't even know if it's so much overrating the Celtics as it is underrating some of the other teams, because it really just takes you sitting down and watching the teams play. The Raptors, by the way, the Raptors have been one of the best offenses at ranked top 5 for the last 3 years. Their backcourt, you could see it. And I'll bring the games again. They just played the Cavs tonight, lost by 3. But if you see just lost by 3, you didn't watch the game, you wouldn't know why they lost. But DeRozan, Kyle Lowry been getting doubled all game. The game-tying shot wide open with about 1 possession left. It might have been 20 or 10 seconds. Patterson breaks a wide open 3.
Some random team. Like the Celtics lost to the Chicago Bulls, a team that we don't even know is going to make the playoffs. Y'all barely.
I think people underrate the Bulls.
Even if they make the playoffs, I mean, it's not like they're going to be a top 4 seed. The Toronto Raptors lost to a team who we all believe is going to have a better record than them, and they barely lost to that team. I don't understand that bias. I don't get that, because to me Toronto has been an elite team for the past 2 years. If you win 50 or more games, you are thus permitted to be called an elite team. And that is an elite team in the East that majority of teams, and I would argue that out of the 15 teams in the East, 10 to 12 teams can't beat Toronto. They can't beat Toronto in the 7-game series. And it's practically the same team. If you think that Bismack Biyombo made that much of a difference playing like less than 20 minutes for that team last year, why weren't you saying nothing when he was on the team last year then? Now all of a sudden, oh, you know what, they lost Bismack.
Or people talk about Biyombo as such a huge impact. Biyombo was great defensively for the most part. He was a good shot blocker. A lot like Hassan Whiteside. But then, a lot like Hassan Whiteside, Biyombo was poor on rotations, and you get caught trying to block people and jumping, you get in foul trouble. So long story short, Biyombo was back for game 2. The Magic just played. The Magic lost by, let me do some math right now. That's 20 plus. They lost by 26 to Detroit. Detroit, a team that just got destroyed by the Raptors in the first game of the season. Biyombo was playing that game. He was still playing bench, the same role he played with the Raptors, and he's on Orlando now. So and they have Frank Vogel. So you might be saying, Agent, it might take some time to get. Okay, I understand. He didn't have that much of an impact. All right. Long story short, Horford might get 15 points and 6-7 rebounds per game, but he's not doing more than that. And I think for 15.7 rebounds, that's a pretty good center right there. But it's definitely not an all-star. But people treat him like he's a bona fide all-star, 100%. It's crazy.
We saw all through the all season people were talking about Al Horford like he was going to change the tides in Boston. Like we was like, oh, finally Boston got an all-star, so they got a superstar in their hands. So we're gonna figure out what they're gonna do. They're gonna be what? They're gonna take the East. They're gonna give real problems to the Cavs, right? No, Boston isn't that good of a team.
Yeah, I'd be more excited about Marcus Smart's development if that guy could stop shooting like a brick rather than Horford, because there's some potential. There's some big players on that team, and I don't think he's in the future of that team. Is what I'm trying to say.
He's not in the future of the team. They made that pick so they thought they were gonna get Kevin Durant, and since they didn't get Kevin Durant, they need to keep making moves because they just don't have all the pieces yet. But we talked about this a lot. I don't know if Waffle, you want to touch upon anything like that in the East, what's going on.
Nah, I'm good with this.
Yeah. Speaking of Charles Barkley, going back to what he said, and he was speaking on the Golden State Warriors, and we're going to touch upon the Warriors again because there's more people in the chat. We're going to talk about the Warriors one more time before we move on with what's going on. So Charles Barkley talked about the Warriors. He's talking about how the team as a whole, and I feel the exact same way as well, the team really hasn't gotten that much better from where they were last year. This is a team that was great at spacing the floor. They were historically a great three-point shooting team, and they just got better at something that they were already historically great at, but got worse at something that ended up losing them the championship, in my opinion, which is depth at the forward position and in the front court because they can't protect the rim. And we saw it again with the San Antonio Spurs. Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge just basically got whatever they wanted in the lane. Is this going to be a problem moving forward? Do you think that Charles Barkley is right that three-point shooting teams can't win championships? Do you think that argument and that idea has any merit to it? Because I think it does. I think a lot of people don't put that much thought process into it, and they simplify the argument to threes or more than twos. So that's the reason why people jump to that conclusion. But what do you think about Charles Barkley's argument against the Golden State Warriors?
You've been saying that forever. That's not the case at all. You'll miss threes, you'll make threes, but for the most part, if that was the case, then people would have the Bulls get placed in second. The people had the Bucks would be a successful team if the three ball. He's not saying it's unimportant. He's just saying don't live by it and don't die by it. We've seen the Golden State Warriors win with it. It's just a matter of can you do it efficiently. So don't shoot recklessly. Although sometimes they do that and they still make it over in Golden State. As long as because if you remember the Cavs versus the Raptors, I'm bringing it up again. The Cavs' whole playoffs up until the finals. They were blown by teams because players like Channing Frye, Kyrie Irving, and J.R. Smith couldn't fucking miss if somebody paid them to. They were just making all their threes, shooting percentages that don't even rationally make sense. And so they were successfully playing with the three ball. But it fell apart in the finals for the Cavs. They weren't shooting nearly as well. Although the Warriors weren't clamping down, they were just missing shots that they were making in previous series. But the Cavs still managed to somehow come back from a 3-1 deficit and win the series. So I think people will see it when the three-pointer is the reason someone fucks up and loses the game, but they never see it when the three-pointer is the reason someone's consistently winning. So it just really depends, to be honest. I think he might. Sometimes Charles Barkley just seems like he says some shit just to say some shit. I don't think he really thinks about it too much before he says it.
Yeah, I think he's first of all, he says some crazy shit all the time. But I think he's just overreacting because the Warriors, they take a lot of threes. But that's because they have, of course, they have great three-point shooters. So they have, again, great spacing. And Draymond Green's going to get his opportunity to even shoot his threes. but they don't have to they can score in a variety of ways. I mean, you got Kevin Durant on that team. Klay Thompson could shoot anywhere on the court. I know. Curry takes a lot of threes and stuff like that, but even him, he could drive to the lane and shoot mid-range stuff like that. So I think the Warriors, their philosophy is to shoot threes because of course, threes better than two, and the spacing on the floor is so great that you get a lot of open threes and get a lot of open looks that it just happen to take a lot of threes. But I don't think when you talk about their losses and you see that their 3-point percentage, yes, sometimes it's a reason that they lose the game. But that's how they play basketball. They got great shooters out there, so you're going to take 3-point shots.
I see the argument. The thing is, the biggest thing with me is that I think this is when you're speaking more rationally, the understanding is just don't fall in love with the three and don't make it the only option offensively. Because if you go back and you look at that game when they played San Antonio, like I said before, they still scored over 100 points. They still shot well from the field. They found other ways to score at the basket, even though they shot pretty poorly from behind the arc. So I thought that the game was still fine for them as an all-around game offensively. Again, I really don't think that the argument can be simplified as threes is better than two, so then you need to shoot more threes. And even on the flip side with Barkley, I don't think that the argument should be simplified as three-point shooting teams can't win basketball games. Because realistically speaking, if you look at basketball over the past 20 years, majority of teams who end up winning the championship are quote-unquote three-point shooting teams. They normally lead the NBA in three-point shooting or somewhere top in the top 3 or 4, 3 or 5 when it comes to three-pointers attempt. So you actually look at it, he's actually wrong in that sense. But the biggest thing with me when it comes to the idea of it is just that they can't fall in love with it. They can't settle for it because they have so many options now offensively. You can have Kevin Durant handle the ball and dribble into the lane. He was a really good post-up option in that first game, especially because the San Antonio Spurs are switching a lot. And then even though David West really didn't seem like he was that much of a threat, you obviously had David West posting up as well. I just feel like there's more options on that team than just three-point shooting, so they shouldn't settle for that. And if they don't settle for that, then I think they'll be completely fine. I think they'll be able to move on. But that's something that I just don't want to see them settle with, and I don't want to see them, come content with it. But I think that might end up being the detriment of the Golden State Warriors upcoming season, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. Like you said, it's beginning of the season, and hopefully we'll see. Moving on, staying in the West. I want to stay in the West real quick. Looking at what a lot of players did in the West, like James Harden, Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, even DeMarcus Cousins, because DeMarcus Cousins had a really good game too. Where are these teams going? Because I think a lot of people are settled with the fact that Houston makes the playoffs, and they think that team is completely fine, even though I think that they take a huge hit after losing Dwight Howard, and I think they'll start to realize that as time progresses. But as a whole, these teams, they're really not championship contending teams. These teams are normally in the bottom of the conference. And if they make the playoffs, they're at the bottom of the playoffs. They're barely making the playoffs. But these teams have these great players, and they're putting up great numbers, and yet they're still losing. You might be able to throw OKC in there as well. What do you think about those teams? What do you think about those players? What are they going to do and progress? Because to me, it just seems like time wasted. And I think that was what a lot of people were very cautious about when Russell Westbrook signed that contract with the OKC Thunder. Hey, Waff, I think you got to go because this man agent isn't here no more.
Oh, no, I'm here. I don't know how to mute my mic. I was talking, and then I realized it was muted. But I think, to be honest, I think Anthony Davis is in a good situation because he can control his shit, all right? So there are players like Kevin Garnett in the past or DeMarcus Cousins right now and potentially Anthony Davis where it just feels like their time is fucking being wasted because, a general manager can't build a team around them. So Anthony Davis is in a situation where if it doesn't work this year and you stay healthy this year and your name is Anthony Davis, you don't make the playoffs because they can't build a team around you, then it has to be time for you to head out. I mean, as much as you might fucking love a city, either management has to go or the player has to go. It just sucks to fucking see players like this. I mean, they'll put up good numbers and those games are going to be exciting, but I feel so bad for DeMarcus, man. On another level, I remember I saw a quote this tonight where DeMarcus was talking about he loves here at Sacramento. Sacramento's his home. But at the same time, if somebody's like, yo, you got traded to the Celtics, I think he'd be like, oh, for real? Oh, that's what's fucking up. I'm going to head to Boston right now. So it's really on management, man. There's some play. Maybe DeMarcus is the biggest one here. Because he's following the footsteps of Kevin Garnett, except he's likely not going to get in the big three and win a championship.
Well, I mean, at least with Kevin Garnett, at some point they actually put a team around him because they did eventually make the playoffs. So that team doesn't even look like they're going to make the playoffs, to be honest with you.
I think Anthony Davis is the most recent one because he just signed that contract. But Cousins and players like John Wall, they've been on their team for like 5 years now. I think you said James Harden, he's been there a while, but I don't think like his best chance. He made it to the Western Conference with Houston. Of course, Westbrook made it to the NBA Finals, but that was with Kevin Durant. I think there's always going to be players that are just on like bad teams, like especially since you got the Warriors. Like players are going to start, joining up together and make these super teams now because they want to win championships. So there's going to be a whole bunch of bad teams in the NBA, and until they find a way to fix it, maybe in the next CBA, I think this is going to continue to happen.
The thing, what's crazy about the thing that makes it worse because I don't know if you can throw Wall in that situation just yet because I do feel like Wall has a better team around him than like DeMarcus does and maybe even Anthony Davis. But like those players, they're so screwed because James Harden, he at least had the opportunity to restructure his contract and get the money that he rightfully deserves. Those players are so underpaid, it's ridiculous. And the fact that a new CBA, well, not a new CBA, a new TV deal kicked in, and players are receiving way more money than what they once was. I think that's. I looked at the salary. I looked at some of the salaries over the offseason. Paul George, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins are getting the same amount of money as players like Kent Bazemore and Chandler Parsons. To me, that's what makes it worse. Wait, what'd you say?
I said, and Evan Turner, that man is trash. Oh my God!
Players that are borderline coming off the bench, and so the fact that they're getting so little, but they're doing so much for a team, and teams that are terrible. Like I don't think people really recognize how bad of a franchise Sacramento is. Like y'all may think y'all know, but if you actually not just in NBA, but if you look at all the sports, Sacramento is one of the worst ran teams, not just NBA. In all of the sports, because they haven't made the playoffs in over 10 years. It's a 12 going on 13-year stretch where they have not made the playoffs. This is one of the worst ran organizations of all time. And the fact that they've had talent, they had Rookie of the Year in Tyreek Evans, Rookie of the Year in DeMarcus Cousins, and the fact that they just keep drafting big men as if it's fucking 1978 and you can just stand in the lane and there's no three to the basket and shit like that. Like I don't understand that, but it's a waste of time and it's a waste of energy and it's a shame that talent and numbers and accolades and statistics are going unnoticed in some of these organizations. But like I said this already though. I made a video about it. Those players are going to put up numbers and those teams are not going to win. I don't think OKC is going to win that much, and I for sure don't think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to put up that many numbers. Giannis is going to put up really good numbers, pretty solid, but that team isn't going to win, and that's another terrible ran organization, and it's just that shit is frustrating as hell because at the end of the people's career, you look back and you look at a player like Kevin Garnett and then Tim Duncan, and even though statistically speaking, Kevin Garnett was on par with Tim Duncan, if not better in some years, because Garnett was on a terrible ran organization and Duncan was on a great organization. Then the whole entire story gets flipped over on its back. But I think Waffle actually touched on this real quick. Are the Bulls under or overrated? Because I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. I think that team.
I think they might be
hurt them.
I think it's gonna take time for them to come together, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I think it depends on a lot of Rondo. Because I told y'all what Wade was gonna do. Wade was gonna average like 17, 19 points a game. Saw him in that first game hit that clutch dagger through with the cutthroat. He picked up a quick fine. But I think a lot of people have the Bulls not making the playoffs. But I think they have a chance to make the playoffs, man. I mean, the bottom of the 8th seed, you don't know who can get that.
I put them in my 8th seed last week, and y'all said I was crazy.
I still think you're crazy. That's him. That's him saying that. I still
both of y'all said that.
I still think it's crazy that they're that anybody will put them in the playoffs because I don't think that's a playoff team.
It depends on how well the Knicks do. It's really a battle between those two. But the Hornets beat the Heat today, by the way.
The Hornets beat the Heat.
The Hornets want to beat the Heat. You want to? Did they need cookies or something?
Shoot, yep, they're 2-0. Yo, they're undefeated. Huh.
Man, they face bums so far, man. Chill.
True.
And Kemba's playing terrible. That man take a step back, low key.
Kemba?
Yeah, he doesn't look good.
I don't know about that. They shot 30.
He might have just had one good season though.
Man, what did I say? Who said that Kemba was going to be an All-Star this season?
No. I said he could be, and he was really close last year. So,
man, Kemba taking a back seat.
They got Roy Hibbert. I forgot he even existed. Wow, that's what's up. I cut you off, Waffle. What were you gonna say before I cut you off, man?
No, I just said that I think Kemba's gonna be taking have a down year this season.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Bulls are gonna make the play because I looked at the Bulls and I think fundamentally like they have a massive flaw, especially in today's NBA when it comes to space in the floor, and I think that's a huge problem for that team. And I think it's going to be a huge problem, even though Wade had a really good game, especially from three. He knocked down his threes that game against the Boston Celtics. I don't know. I don't really see it. I think they're gonna struggle. I think they're going to consistently struggle actually from behind the arc, and I don't really see them going out there consistently, especially when teams start to realize how they're going to play and how they attack the basket, and they're not going to fall for Rondo's ball fakes as much as they did in the first few games or the first few weeks of the NBA season. And I think they're going to clamp down. I think they're going to have a problem with playing offensively, and then on the defensive end. We got to see what Wade and Rondo's going to give you, but I don't know. The team is kind of sketchy to me. And then you still got to put in injuries and stuff like that. I don't know if Wade is still going to pencil in 70 or more games, and then Rondo, who knows what he's going to give you as well when it comes to how many games he's going to play. So I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. And then obviously when they start to lose games, what they're going to be saying in the locker room. I don't know. It's some huge questions with that team in my opinion, but I just feel like. That team, it could work out, and maybe I don't know why I'm going against Wade, but to me that team that's a huge question mark to me. I don't think they're a definitive Eastern Conference playoff team.
We have breaking news. Russell Westbrook is the first player since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1975 to drop 50 points with the triple-double.
How many shots did he take? How many shots did he take?
Like 44.
Let me see the total.
That's that fantasy right there, boy.
I was thinking this the second I saw the stats. I was like, I can't believe. I wish I had him in fantasy. He shot 44 times, 17 for 44. Oh,
17?
Yeah.
Oh, that field goal percentage is done. He took 44 attempts, and they won by 3 points. As
long as they won, bro.
Yo, that's crazy. Nah, like Agent said, when they start playing some elite teams, when they play elite teams,
we'll see when they play elite teams, nigga. Nah, we'll see.
He not gonna be able to put up numbers like that when they play elite teams, and even if he do, they for sure not winning.
Yo, this is how much Russell Westbrook had the ball that game. The entire team had 13 assists. Westbrook had 10 of them, and Westbrook shot the ball 44 times. That's crazy.
That's his team, bro. Let that man chuck it up. I want to see that man chuck every game, bro.
Word. I like that.
It's going to get to a point where they're going to be like, they're going to treat him just like they did Kobe, and they're going to treat James Harden the same way too. Like, yo, go ahead and get your points, go ahead and put up your crazy numbers. That's cool. But we'll just clamp up everybody else because they're not going to be able to score. He shot 38%. Time out. He shot 38%. Victor Oladipo shot 41%. Steven Adams shot 37%. Y'all bugging. Y'all think that team was going to do good.
They're not going to do good, but...
And Steven Adams got 6 turnovers, by the way.
Say it again?
Steven Adams had 6 turnovers.
Woo!
That's the league these days, right? Turnover heavy.
How many turnovers Westbrook had?
I bet five, right? Yeah. I told you, man. My niggas averaging turnovers like 5 turnovers, nigga. This shit getting heavy out there.
There might be 10 players that break Harden's most turnovers in a year. His record.
I ain't gonna lie. We might have a whole another level turnovers this upcoming season, yo, because that don't make no sense. Six turnovers, 4 turnovers, and 5 turnovers. 6 from Adams, 4 from Oladipo, and 5 from this man. I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong with Russell Westbrook and the amount of points he's going to put up, because it looks like he just don't care. He about to just put up as many points as possible for them to win the game. But
exactly, bro.
They're not going to win that many games, bro. Not shooting 38%.
We'll see, man. It's only the first week, man.
But that's how
the NBA.
The thing is,
let
that's
the
how he
NBA.
plays, though. That's how he plays.
Yeah, well, he's gonna have to play at that now because he has literally nobody else to go to on that team. Especially with the Oladipo, if he doesn't do anything like he's supposed to be brought on to do, then he really has no other option. I mean, Ilyasova does some good things some games off the bench, but other than that, like, you don't got any shooters out there. So he's really by himself. Like I said, man, wait till the NBA simmers for a week. Let it simmer. The pot's still sizzling. Let that pot cool out, bro. Take off the freaking broccoli. Take off the starch. Take out the parsley. Let that shit cool down a little bit.
I don't know, bro. He plays like that, so I don't understand. I don't think it's gonna change, bro. That man, that's how he plays. That's how he always been playing. And like I said, when he play against actual teams, not against Philly and not against the Suns.
Well, they face the Warriors soon, so.
Yeah, you'll figure out then. He gonna be chucking so much against the Warriors.
But then again, right? The Warriors don't got defense, so not be able to drop buckets.
I don't know. Now we're gonna go back to we're gonna keep up with this over under thing. Pacers, are they overrated, underrated? It seemed like Jeff Teague, he don't know how to play defense because that man's looking terrible.
Overrated, underrated.
Because I thought that team was gonna be way better than what they look like.
They'd be overrated now because people.
What was the name you gave?
Wait, say it again.
What was the name you gave?
Oh, Pacers, overrated, underrated.
Overrated, easily.
Yeah, I think they overrated too. I thought Jeff Teague was going to be a better fit for that team, but it doesn't look like he's about to work out for him.
Well,
I think. Sorry, I need to grab my headphones.
Jeff Teague so far is tripping. He's tripping so far.
Yeah, defensively, he not doing nothing. He ain't doing not a thing.
I think it's worth waiting, but George Hill is going to be a better defender. I've seen Jeff Teague play with the Hawks, and he's great at driving the ball. That's something George Hill wasn't too good at. So, I mean, you get something different. You get a more offensive-minded player, and I think that's what they wanted. And even with that, though, they still are having trouble scoring. So, anyway, I think they're overrated for sure. A lot of people have them at 2, 3, 4. I don't even think they're locked for the top 4 yet.
Yeah. Honestly, talking about the Eastern Conference, I think almost every single Eastern Conference team, if you think about it, except the Raptors, are kind of in a way overrated. Because people got them. I mean, which means it's more competitive at the bottom end, but after the Cavs and the Raptors, it's like a whole bunch of question marks for some teams.
That's what I've been saying. Last week I said this on the pod, and everyone was like, "No, Agent," but the East is overrated. Like the whole East, every year people say. Last 3 years, people have been saying the East has gotten better, guys. The East has gotten not better. It got so much better, but has it though? Because it's still the Cavs dominating the East, and then it used to be like the Raptors, and then one other team would be second tier, and then everybody else would just be third tier. But there's nobody with the Raptors in the second tier anymore. Boston could potentially make a push for it this year. We'll see if they can get 53, 54 wins. But outside of that, it's the same Eastern Conference, yo.
But the East is more closer than the West.
Yeah, for sure. The West is like 3 teams with concentrated talent, and then it just falls off. You guys were talking about Jazz might get 4th. Trust me, I like my Jazz. But they might start off 0-2, man. Did they? Hold on, let me check. They played today. Oh, they're about to beat the Lakers by 5.
Oh, yeah. They don't even have Gordon Hayward, so maybe when he comes back.
Yeah, anyway. So the Jazz, I think, are going to be a good team. They'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to. Long story short, I think the East is heavily overrated. But how can it not be though? Because there's only 2 teams fighting for a championship. That's the Cavs and the Warriors.
I'm thinking about that too. I'm like, man, is it really that much different from the West? Because like really and truly, I feel like
but it's more competition in the East.
Even the 2 teams we talking about, like the Cavs and Raptors. I mean, we can be honest, it's still the Cavs. So I mean, even though it's talent at the top with Cavs and Raptors and potentially one more team, is it really that much different from the West? Aren't both, in my opinion, both conferences are just top heavy. It's just that there's more legitimate championship contenders in the West than maybe in the East. But still, as a conference, if you look at both conferences, it's still top heavy. It's both conferences have like 2 or 3 teams that are legitimate, like going to make the first, second, and third round potentially. I don't really think it's that many. I don't really think neither conference can go like 5 to 6 teams deep.
Yeah, they can. Someone asked, "Do I think?" Sorry to cut you off. Someone asked if I think the Raptors can make the playoffs in the West. Yes, I think the Raptors would be 3rd in the West.
I don't understand why people just disrespect that team, yo.
The Clippers. I think you know what's a good matchup. There's tiers to basketball. You can argue the Golden State Warriors, the Cavs, and the Spurs are top tier. Then you go a tier down, and then there's the Clippers. Then there's the Raptors. And if the Celtics have a good year, you can potentially add them in there. And then you go down, and then there's a whole lot of teams. And that's all the teams that are going to get from like 3 to 6 on the Eastern and Western Conference. So it looks stratified this year, man. There's only one way to put it. If you guys watch soccer, then you already know it's literally the same teams with all the talent that are winning all the time. And it's the biggest sport in the world. So it might just be a trend or it might just be a fad. I'm hoping it's a fad because if it's just 2 or 3 teams competing for the championship every year, I'm not gonna lie, that's just it's gonna be predictable and it's gonna be boring to watch.
That's how it's been for the past 3 years now. So, and this year especially, like Kevin Durant just basically, especially since he's probably gonna return next season as well. Now teams got to find a way to figure out to beat him because LeBron is getting up there in that age, not yet, but sooner or later it's gonna be like, wow, teams are gonna be less competitive in the conferences because of one super team that's basically dominating the NBA.
Do y'all think it's going to end up like that? Because I think at some point both conferences are going to have to do something about that. Like that's not something that both conferences can just keep going by. Like, oh no, it's fine that we keep losing to, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because at some point, it does look like it's about to be, for at least like 5 years straight, the same teams going to the finals.
It's been like that for a while now. There's some stats that go like last 20 years, only this many teams have made it to the finals or have won a championship. It's the same teams and franchises winning over and over and over again. You can count all of the franchises that haven't won yet that were spawned in 95 or in, I think it was 04, they had another expansion. So there are so many teams that haven't had a title. It's been some of them, like Cleveland. You know how long Cleveland's been out, and they just got one only because LeBron went back there, only because he was born there. If that wasn't his hometown, he wouldn't have had a reason to go back there. But he did, and they finally won, which, you know what, to a certain extent, I like that. I like that new teams are winning. But I think it's been like this for a while. It's just getting worse now because players like Kevin Durant, superstars, are meeting up with other superstars. And then you have 3, 4, 15 superstars on one team. You call yourself an all-star team and you start competing in the league, you're going to win. So I feel like, remember Bill Russell won over and over and over again? It's probably how people felt.
Yeah, but even then, when somebody does that, though, I'm not saying it's what they did back then was necessarily entertaining or what might have viewed to be entertaining, but at least at that point, you can like kind of sit back and be like, okay, at least they built it through the draft, so it's not like it's not like nobody really like ran the idea, probably thought about the idea at that point in time. Like, hey, we just need to sign a whole bunch of people to beat that team. But at this point, it's so common that everybody is just signing with teams left and right. So, won't that eventually like hurt the league? Like, won't that eventually like get on certain players' nerves?
It might, but there are leagues around the world that this has been the case forever. So if you're a fan of like the Premier League and your team isn't even like if they're on a lower tier or they got relegated, like it's a wrap for you. Like the chances of you coming back or even performing once you get back are so low. So the teams, there were like 3 or 4 teams are going to perform well when you're watching soccer in the league. And outside of that, that's it. And that's the way it is now. It's like the Golden State Warriors, of course, they got all the talent. The Cavs, of course, maybe the Spurs, but they lost Tim Duncan. And that's it. There's 3 teams we know. One of those 3 teams is going to win, and we already know that. That's ridiculous.
True. One more on the over under, and then we're going to go to the last game we're going to do real quick. Overrated, underrated, Joel Embiid. Because it look like he balling out there, boy. Look like he a future star. Look like he a Hall of Famer.
I think he's perfectly ready.
Look like he got Hall of Fame badges on him.
Chill.
Wow. Yeah, I think he's perfectly rated. But if I had to choose one, honestly, I'd pick overrated. Because it's just because people are going. The hype for that game was unreal, especially for the hype for him after not playing for 2 years. And I mean, he had a good game, but like it wasn't like anything crazy.
Nah, trust you.
It was just good.
Trust, he underrated. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the center position, y'all are so used to terrible centers that y'all are so quick to like throw the label of, oh no, he's the best center, he's the greatest center in the NBA. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, DeMarcus Cousins, I don't necessarily know if it's as clear as it once was over the past 2 years that he's the best center in the NBA right now, because I think DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, okay, I was about to say.
Because I think Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns. And it's another name that's off the my head right now. But it's other young players that are coming in the league that I think that are really going to push DeMarcus Cousins off that pedestal of being the best center in the league. Because I look at what DeMarcus does, and even though he puts up more points, I would give up some of those points to get a better defender and more athletic player and more efficient player too.
Well, just in big men in general, there's a lot more versatile big men in the game that could probably have more potential than what DeMarcus Cousins is doing. Just because the skill set that big men are coming with in the game with to be able to dribble the ball, come down the court, do a bunch of posts, and especially when they learn the post, and they can already shoot free throws, and Cousins is not a bad free throw shooter either. But these guys are coming in the league crazy. Like even Miles Turner, like he got some skills too. You got Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid out there. The foreign players that come in the league, like a whole bunch of skill sets, man.
True.
I think he's rated on point right now. I mean, keep in mind the 76ers, and they've been at a trash team for so long. They see a tiny bit of talent and they're going to overreact. So you got to keep that in mind. But we'll see. If he doesn't continue to get injured, he could have a good future.
True.
And the Warriors look like they won too, so for them they get the first win.
All right, I'm trying to get in the chat. I'm trying to figure out how to get back in the chat real quick. But I think we're basically done. We'll wrap this up real quick with our last 2 games, and we normally do one more game, and then we're gonna do our predictions of the games in this upcoming week. And I gotta make sure y'all follow me on Twitter. Make sure y'all follow all of us on Twitter. But when you follow me on Twitter, I'm gonna make sure I do a graphic so I can keep up to date to who's winning and who's losing in these predictions of every single week. But real quick, and like I said before, people in the chat, y'all can interact as well with these questions I'm about to throw y'all way. Real quick questions about who would you take in the draft between these 2 players. Just put in the chat between the 2 players who you think is going to draft. And again, I'm gonna ask these dumbass niggas the same question. All right, real quick, Anthony Davis or Karl Anthony Towns? Who would you pick?
Anthony Davis.
You pick Davis, Waffle?
Yeah, I pick Davis.
Yeah, I'm bugging. It's Karl Anthony Towns. That's what it is.
You don't forget, like, the GMs voted. A grand majority of the GMs voted out of all players in the league. They'd want to build their team around Anthony Davis. That's how good
Well, they did another vote last offseason, and they voted to Karl Anthony Towns.
So, I mean, I think they only voted that because AD got injured again for the season. But if we just pretend like injuries never happen in a perfect world.
You know what? I might take Karl Anthony Towns, to be honest.
Exactly. Oh, shit.
Nah, I'm sticking with Anthony Davis.
I don't understand, like, how could you still – I mean, you can't act like – I don't know. I feel like you got to take in consideration that.
Not yet. What?
Well, I was watching that. That first half against the Grizzlies, that man Towns was killing it. I was like, whoa. I was like, I didn't know he improved that much already. This man just went from Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 3. I was like, fuck.
You done?
I'm done, bro.
I don't know. I feel like Towns is younger and he's less injury prone, and I feel like his upside is higher than.
No,
I feel like Anthony Davis.
Take that last one back. His upside is higher. What do you mean? Anthony Davis has no people on his team. He's getting doubled every game, dropping these points. You see the game he played today? Oh my god!
You're making it seem like I think that Anthony Davis is trash.
No. I think you're just so excited to see Cat grow as a player that you just think he's there already. Like you think it's made for him.
No, I think last year since he put up 18 and 10, I think that right there alone proves that he could potentially be better than Anthony Davis. Because even Anthony Davis, even when Anthony Davis is healthy, he's like a little under 25 points, a little over 10 rebounds. He'll get you 2 or 3 blocks. I understand that, but even when Anthony Davis is healthy and what we've seen out of him consistently throughout his career, I mean, he's going to have his good games here and he'll have his great games, historic games here and there. But when you start to look at the average and what it average outs to be, I mean, it's not too far from what Karl-Anthony Towns did in his rookie year.
I disagree with you, but all right.
Next one. Miles Turner. This is a dumb one. Miles Turner or Porzingis. This is a side note. This is Waffle Man asking these dumb questions. Miles Turner or Porzingis.
I said it last week. Y'all thought I was crazy. It is Miles Turner.
See, that's the reason why it's a dumb question, because it's obviously Porzingis.
It's not obviously Porzingis, though. Because Miles Turner developed a 3-point shot. He's been banging those. Y'all see the game he had the other day?
Those.
He's banging them, though?
Banging those. What?
He shot. Yes, he is. Better than Porzingis, who shot 32% last year. Face ass.
That's the last
year. What did
year.
Miles Turner shoot from 3 last year?
He didn't shoot threes last year.
Okay, then. Okay. All right, then. That's what I thought.
You think 33% is a high mark? There are DeRozan having that. DeRozan had a better 3-point percentage than Porzingis last year.
Porzingis is 7 feet tall. Why are you comparing 7 foot tall players to 6
Because
foot
I'm comparing 3-point shooters to 3-point shooters. That's what I'm doing here.
Neither one. I wouldn't necessarily label neither one of them as a 3-point shooter.
I'm comparing the 3-point ability.
Why?
It doesn't matter your height. It doesn't matter your race or your skin. It doesn't matter how big you are or how much you make for breakfast.
Right now? You're not
your 3-point percentage is your 3-point.
So stupid. That's like me saying. Okay, Mike Conley only grabbed 3 rebounds and Karl-Anthony Towns grabbed 10. No, I'm looking at. I don't care about.
No, but if y'all gonna claim because that's different. I'm talking percentages here. Percentages are different because no matter how much more volume one player shoots,
and who shot more threes last season?
You're working with the
same.
Who
shot more threes then?
All I'm saying is Miles Turner grabbed what was I didn't get that question.
Who shot more threes?
Between who?
DeMar DeRozan and Porzingis.
I don't know. I'm assuming Porzingis though.
Actually, it might have been roughly around the same. But what I'm saying is the fact that you completely. I don't know the fact that you're sitting here saying that the guard shoots 33% from 3 is the same as a big shooting 33% from the 3. That's fucking stupid to me.
All right, well, take this in. If you average out the last 2 games for Miles Turner, he dropped 30 points and 16 rebounds, 4 blocks, 2 steals. I'm saying Miles Turner has the potential. Miles Turner has so much potential, and it's sad that only people that watch Pacer games are ever going to see that.
I'm mad how when I talk about Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Davis, you kill me about potential, but I already know what Porzingis is going to give me. So what are you saying?
How do you? No, I'm saying that the Pacers. We'll see. We'll see by the end of the season because we're going to come back to this.
What did he shoot? What did he shoot from 3? Miles Turner.
He shot 50% so far this season. Last year he shot 25%.
So far this season, Porzingis shooting 60%.
Oh shit!
60% on how many threes?
You just sat there and say it doesn't matter.
No, I know. I'm just curious for the first 2 games because there's a small sample.
But I just like you just sat there and say it doesn't matter though.
Miles Turner shot 4 threes, so it's not a big shot.
But Porzingis shot 5. So okay. Shut up.
So if Miles,
put the L's in the chat. Put the L's in the chat.
It's not an L though because if Miles,
it's an L. Put the L's in the chat.
His next game and he makes it, he has the same percentage as Porzingis, and he has the same volume. I'm saying it's not a small sample.
Porzingis shot more 3. He shot 1 more 3, and he shot better from 3.
I'm saying if Miles Turner shot one more three, he'd also have 5 attempts, and he'd be at 60%. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying there's a tiny sample size.
60%.
Long story short, Miles Turner, I think, is going to have a better season. I think you're trying not to believe it, and that's why you don't want to. But it really depends on whether the Knicks can get their shit together, because if they can, then Porzingis can shine. But I already know for Miles Turner is going to shine whether the rest of the team does or not.
What do you think about a Waffle Man? What do you think about? What do you think about that bum ass nigga Miles Turner?
If you think Miles Turner is going to shine even when the team don't shine, I think the same thing about Porzingis. Because Porzingis, honestly, I think he had a bad game. Versus the Cavs, I didn't think he played that good, to be honest. And he still had 7.
Not good at all. Not that good.
All right, but he still had 70 points shooting, 60% from 3?
And on what? 5 threes? I'm saying Miles Turner dropped. What was it? He's averaging 30 and 16.
30 one game? What did he put up today?
Whoa, you talking about first of all, the base of your argument was that he's developing, and the thing he's developing is a 3-point shot. And you're using off of 2 games what he shot from 3. And even from those 2 games, Porzingis is still shooting better from field.
But I'm saying that's not the only fucking factor. Dude pulled 11 rebounds and the game before 16 rebounds, then 11 rebounds. That's not. Oh my! I'm not even gonna get into it.
Who's he competing with for the rebounds?
Nobody.
So nobody. You're saying you can get 16 rebounds?
I'm saying. No, I'm not. What are you saying?
Who is he? What he's saying is on the Pacers. Who is he competing with boards with?
Al Jefferson's the center.
Right? Al Jefferson is not playing on the same time. He's not playing on the court at the same time he is.
Oh, yeah. They just do 5 subs, right? They never mesh, the bench and the starters. But let's pretend that they never mesh. They also got Thad Young. They got big men on that team, so...
Thad Young, I mean...
Nigga, there's a difference between Thad Young and Paul George than Carmelo Anthony and what's his name, and Joakim Noah.
All right, you guys don't believe me. Waffle definitely won't because he's a New York Knicks fan. He thinks Porzingis is like the next LeBron or something. But it doesn't matter whether you guys see it or not. I see Miles Turner play 7 games against my Raptors last year. I was like, whoa, this man can fucking ball. And I knew this, but he really showed out in the playoffs. And so when he said he's going to average 19 points the next season in the interview, I said, he's not lying, though. He will. And so the only thing that threw that into question for me was, why would you sign Al Jefferson? Well, I don't understand where that comes from. So assuming Al Jefferson is going to stay on the bench, he's going to get bench minutes, and Miles Turner is going to be getting 37 minutes like last game or 33 like this game, Miles Turner is going to have a really good season, and I think he'll edge out Porzingis.
The Swank Lords in the chat.
Hey, swing. All right. Me and Waffle said Porzingis. He said Miles Turner. Joel Embiid or Jahlil Okafor?
I don't know. I don't watch the 76ers enough to know that one.
I got Embiid.
In fact, I'm gonna go with Embiid because I had Jahlil on fantasy and he was all over the fucking place.
Yeah, true. I guess I'll take Embiid too. Even though Okafor, I think is gonna come back and do some good things.
Is he injured? Wait, is he injured?
Nah, he got a little injury, so he's coming off the bench for a while.
Okay.
Oladipo or Serge Ibaka?
Ooh. I'll go Oladipo.
Who you drafting? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just trade my draft pick because I don't want either one of them. Neither one of them are performing right now. I'm gonna just trade my draft pick because I don't want Serge Ibaka or Victor Oladipo.
I don't know how I feel about Oladipo. He's had chances with the Magic to play point guard before, and he performed all right. Shooting guard, not so much. I don't know. I'm going to go Oladipo just because I think he has nice upside.
Yeah, I think he has more upside than Ibaka.
And Ibaka's not as good defensively anymore.
Ibaka. The Ibaka-nator.
But like I said, I'm going to just trade my draft pick because I don't want either one of them. I got that. I'm passing that.
I don't know about all that, man.
What?
He said what?
Devin Booker or D'Angelo? You already know what I'm going to say.
I don't know what you're going to say. But I'm going to take – damn, who am I going to take? You know what? I'll go with the young gunner. Young gunner D'Angelo.
Hey.
I'm going with Devin Booker.
You bugging.
Michael Jordan, right?
Is D'Angelo.
You going with the future Michael Jordan, right?
Exactly, boy.
Who said he's the future Michael Jordan? Who said that?
That future Magic Johnson, boy, had D'Angelo at the point, boy.
Oh. I like D'Angelo a lot, but then I see games with like last game, not this game, the one before, where Jordan Clarkson sets off, and I was like, but Jordan Clarkson can do it too. I said this last year in the podcast. I said, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Clarkson had a better career. But then I seen deloading since then. I think he's been improving more than I thought he would. He's a really good player, but I'm telling you, aside from maybe tonight, Devin Booker, but that guy can fucking shoot. I can't wait till Devin Booker starts to develop some other skills. Yo,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm borderline ready to say that people are overrating Devin Booker.
I think some people are. I think you're right about that. But I think I'm rating him perfectly fine. I think some people are going over the top, like he's about to be a fucking all-star in 2 years. But because I'll be like looking at some people, be like, they need to just build their entire roster, and they need to build a franchise around that nigga Devin Booker. I'd be like, yo, he had good half of a season. He didn't even have a full good season. He had a good half of a season when nobody else was on the team, and they had to have the offense around somebody, so they put it around Devin Booker. Yeah.
I don't know.
And now Bledsoe and them are back. And now they got Dragon Bender. They got a lot more options on that team. And Devin Booker shot like a complete break tonight. Can I get the actual number for you guys real quick? Hold on.
Get that number real quick for us. Get that number. I'm gonna go up to the next one real quick. Al Horford. Oh, you do? Did you pick? Yeah, you pick D'Angelo. You know what time it is, Waffle. You know what time it is.
Pause. Devin Booker shot 8 for 25 tonight.
Brutal. Super All-Star right there.
Brutal.
That's that All-Star right there.
But keep in mind, he was being clamped by Andre Roberson, likely. I didn't watch the game, but I'm assuming because that would only make sense. But anyway, that team looks nice, by the way. If Booker can have a bad game and T.J. Warren can step up and drop 30, I don't know, man.
I said that team is a quiet sleeper. They're quiet though. It's a quiet sleeper. It's not like a loud sleeper.
It's a loud sleeper.
it's a quiet sleeper. Here's a real good one. Let me go in the chat real quick when I look at this real quick. Al Horford or Dwight Howard?
Whew. I saw that young boy Howard dropped 19 rebounds the other day.
Exactly. You saw him.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna go
ahead and say it. Dwight Howard is better than Al Horford, yo.
Yeah, I'll go with Dwight Howard too.
Here's the thing that really it just bothers me. Like Al Horford, it's the same Al Horford that was in Atlanta last year, and I'm dead serious. Nobody was talking about Al Horford at all. Nobody was talking about Al Horford.
But does anyone talk about the Hawks?
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
That's a desolate team, bro. That man Tim Hardaway Jr. dropped 21 in fucking 2 years. First time in 2 years. Ain't nobody give a fuck.
Yo, Howard's having a great fucking season. First game, 16 points, 15 rebounds. Second game, 11 points, 19 rebounds. He's getting his blocks. So, I mean, we knew this Howard always existed. It's just, it didn't look like he was fitting at all. You can tell. It didn't take a brain surgeon to see that Howard didn't like it at all in Houston. I mean, you look like he's doing all right now, man. Back-to-back wins, right? Atlanta's undefeated?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. So that's what's up.
Is he even playing many minutes? Because when I watch the games, he's not finishing the games because the games were.
That's crazy when you look at it now. Because he got 29 and 30 minutes. That means it's per 36.
That's what I'm saying. He's not playing that many minutes. Like they're taking him out the game because the games aren't really close.
Or maybe they're afraid people are gonna hack him.
No, when they took him out the Washington game, he put his fucking little the jumpsuit on, like he was like, oh, I'm about to go chill for a second because it's done.
All right. Well, regardless, I don't know how much of an impact he's having because I haven't watched the Hawk game yet this season, but the stat line looks like he's doing pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I'm gonna add in another one, and then before we get to this last one, because the last one's gonna be really, really good. But I'm gonna throw out this one real quick: Dennis Schroeder or Reggie Jackson?
Reggie Jackson.
Schroeder just got a new deal too.
Yeah, Schroeder. Shout out to Schroeder for the money. The 4 year, $70 million. That's a good.
That's good, right?
It's good for both sides. I think there's more money than I think Schroeder would have received a year ago, and that's a good deal for a starting point guard for the Atlanta Hawks. It's not that much money.
I don't know about that. First game, 7 points, 6 assists. Second game, 14 points, 2 assists. He just a lot of people. I mean, I know Atlanta have been going crazy about Dennis Schroeder. Well, at least from the people I fucking read comments about. but I don't think he's better. Or he might be even. He might be worse than Jeff Teague. But I think Jeff Teague was a better option. Now, Jeff Teague wasn't too good. It didn't look like he fit too well with the team. But the numbers don't look crazy as of yet. Only 2 games in, though.
All I know is that system, be very mindful with the numbers that the guards put up in Atlanta, because that system doesn't necessarily, it doesn't give players the crazy numbers, the inflated numbers that you're going to see with Reggie Jackson or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty solid. I think both of them are good. Both good underneath the radar type of point guard. So real quick, since we got a good handful of people in the chat, real quick, Kyrie Irving, killer Kyrie Irving, or Dame Dollar Lillard. Damian Lillard versus Kyrie Irving. Who would you pick in the draft?
It's Kyrie, yo. I should have Kyrie in a second.
Yeah, I'll take Kyrie.
Do you see Kyrie? Because, I mean, while they put it in the chat, against the Raptors today, LeBron got doubled. Kyrie was left wide open. Jonas didn't get the call on the other end, so he was down. So all it took was Kyrie making that 3. LeBron getting him open, and Kyrie just being clutch is the reason they won. And then Patterson bricking on the other end. So the shot Patterson couldn't make because it didn't look like he had that clutch gene in him to tie it. Kyrie made that to put his team up. Yo, I've seen Kyrie be too good for too long to go with Dame. Even though I like Dame, I think Kyrie goes, man.
In the chat, it's kind of a toss-up. I see a little Lillards. I see some Kyries.
Listen, man. I think Kyrie is better than Lillard, bro. Because when you think about it, they're both specialties at offense. But Kyrie's offense is better, man. Fuck out of here. It's better. Like, it's just, he's smooth. Like, you see Kyrie on the court, and you're like, damn, that's who I want to be. I know fucking Dame Dollar trying to rap in the streets.
No, stop. When I see Dame, I'll be like, damn, that nigga cold. He's cold.
He cold, right? Let me pull up the
Here's the thing, though. I will say this, though, about Kyrie. I still question to this day if Kyrie could legitimately carry a team.
He can.
I understand they got CJ on that Blazers team. I understand that. But I don't necessarily. I mean, I know for a fact Lillard can carry a team, right?
Carry a team.
Kyrie has LeBron James on his team. Like, let's not act like that doesn't aid his process in scoring and his field goal percentage going up.
But Dame had Aldridge for the first few years of his career. Kyrie's. How old is Kyrie? Kyrie's 24.
Man, I think Kyrie's teams have been worse than Damian.
Dame was like 24, 23 as well. They both.
I'm saying Dame started off with a good team. Kyrie didn't have nobody in Cleveland, and Kyrie was getting injured on top of that. So I'm saying now that Kyrie's gotten somebody, he's developed into a good player over this time. It's not like he's just stagnant since he's got LeBron. If you throw Kyrie on the Portland Trailblazers, I think that team would still make the playoffs. And I mean, obviously, if Dame's on the Cavs, that team's still going to the finals. But I mean, look at the stats to start the season: 29 points and 26 points. He's performing well, and that 26 points, one of them was a fucking game winner. He's clutch, yo. There isn't one thing better than having a clutch player on your team, and that's just facts right there. And this guy right here, Kyrie, he makes big shots, yo. Shit. If I was a Cavs fan,
you know what's so funny? Literally, during the plays, you literally sat there and said, "Oh, Lillard is so clutch." You literally said that.
Lillard, right?
You just said that.
Oh, I'm not saying Lillard isn't clutch. I'm just saying I think Kyrie is more. I think Lillard, because I won't forget what he did there in that fadeaway three-pointer. Because once you do that, like, you can't turn back. At that point, you're clutch, right? So, or you could toss it up to Luck. But he's done it before. Dame's been carrying since time. But I just think there's an edge. I'm not saying Dame isn't good. I'm just saying one I think is better.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it's close. Like, I don't think none of us are saying like it's very clear. Because I don't think it's that clear. I think it's actually closer than what a lot of people make it out to be. So, but if I had to pick one, it might have to be Kyrie, man. Because that man Kyrie, what I saw in the finals, that was crazy, yo. That was. I can't get over that.
A few weeks ago, y'all all said Dame. That's crazy.
That wasn't me. I'll never say Dame. Huh?
You might have to go back and get the tape.
Also, on another thing too, I will say this. Kyrie's defense, not only in the finals, but in these first couple games, looks way better than Dame's.
That's what I'm saying, man. LeBron helped that Kyrie defense, bro.
Yeah. It's very clear that Kyrie's becoming a better defender than what Dame is. So shout out to J.R. Smith because he's becoming a better defender as well.
Oh my JR, why is that guy so nice, JR, man? He was killing it against my Raptors. Yeah, that guy, you just leave him open for a heartbeat and he makes it. Don't even leave him open, contest him, he makes it. Shit is crazy.
That man been like that forever.
But I think shout out to J.R. Smith and a few more. Shout out to Tristan Thompson for dropping his baby mama because he ain't dating her no more. She got pregnant. He was like, "Nah, I'm out of here.
Tristan Thompson's ridiculous, yo. I seen him. You know that Snapchat thing where they just fucking suffocate you with Kim Kardashian Daily Mail shits? So I finally clicked on one of them. The only one I ever clicked on, I saw Tristan Thompson chilling with the Kardashians. I was like, yo, what are you doing?
He's chilling, bro.
And then
Go ahead.
I was going to say he criticized some Canadian players for not playing on the Canadian team. He was pretty much just taking a shot at Wiggins. But I don't know. I kind of like Tristan. He's all over the place.
That nigga LeBron said, make sure you keep that girl away from the team, bro.
Exactly.
I was like, oh,
exactly. You better know your role, boy. He told her keep that broad away.
Can you imagine? Nah, she can't come to the arena, bro. I don't want you watching the game.
Exactly.
Funny.
So real quick before we get into the these predictions, performances last week, fucking Russell Westbrook 2 triple doubles. He just dropped another triple double, 50 points. LeBron James he had triple double his first game out. James Harden has a career high in assists. Anthony Davis dropping 50. Dame and Kyrie both putting up numbers too. Giannis actually had a really good full stat line as well. I think a lot of people overlooked that as well. But for sure, a lot of good players, a lot of good basketball.
I'll cut you off real quick though.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis dropped 43 points, 16 rebounds today.
And Anthony Davis dropped another crazy stat line. Shout out to I want to make sure I don't forget it. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard for having a career high as well.
Shout out to DeRozan for dropping 40 game one.
DeMar DeRozan, the inconsistent All-Star. How many he dropped?
What? He's always consistent. He dropped 40.
Oh, he's always
it's like he's the 40th. No, he's not the 40th best player. He's worse than that.
Oh, he's 46th, right?
He's 46.
He's 46.
The 46th best player in the NBA dropped 40. So that inconsistent, barely All-Star player.
He only dropped 32 tonight. That's all.
Oh, he dropped 32 tonight. And you know what's wrong? People leave him open because he's just such a terrible player.
You're right.
Yeah, because he ain't really no All-Star. Jesus Christ. I didn't put down the predictions. I'm gonna make sure I put it on Twitter. What the outcome of was last week's predictions. Oh yeah, shout out to Al Horford too for having the great stat line in his first week on the basketball. Not even scoring over 15 points. But next week predictions, I'm gonna run out. I think how many we run out? Seven games. I can't remember. I'm gonna call out 7 games. Y'all tell me who y'all think gonna win out of the 7.
Wait, do you know who did best last week?
I'm pretty sure you did. I'm not 100% sure though.
Always. Keep on.
Pretty sure you did.
I know I got at least one wrong. I remember during the week I was like, "Fuck, I got that one wrong." But oh well.
All right. But I'm gonna name out 7 games, and then y'all tell me. Actually, we're gonna do 7 games, and so everybody can keep up. It's gonna be 1 game per day from tomorrow till next Friday. So tomorrow the game I'm gonna choose is the Pacers and the Bulls. Who y'all think will win?
Pacers.
Bulls.
I'm gonna go with Pacers.
There you go.
What the fuck? What's wrong with you, boy? Next game after that, Clippers versus Jazz.
Clippers.
I'm gonna go Clippers too. The game after that, all these games are terrible. I'm going to double down another day. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Pelicans.
Oh shit.
I go with the Pelicans.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. Fuck.
I know this is a tough one. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh shit. Let me take the Pelicans.
I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'm gonna go the Bucks. Knicks versus Pistons.
I'll take the Knicks. Go ahead and take the Pistons.
Who's that? You said Jimmy?
Go ahead, boy.
Knicks and Pistons, bro.
Nah, both of y'all take it. Take the Pistons.
Yeah, I'm taking the Pistons. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna take the Knicks. Actually, they ain't got no guards in the Pistons. I hope the fucking Knicks. The Knicks better not disappoint me again. Jesus Christ.
Relax. Take it easy. Relax.
All I know is them Knicks better not disappoint me again.
Relax, bro. I already got the freaking. It's gonna be lit tonight. Whew.
Let me throw in some other teams. Kind of mix it up. 76ers versus the Hornets.
Hornets.
76ers.
I'm gonna go with the Hornets.
You choose 76ers. Well, I'm gonna let you live on that.
Nah, I told y'all niggas that you're underrated the Hornets. 76ers, bro.
I'm saying you're underrating the Hornets.
Nope. Trash.
We'll find out.
We will soon.
Miami Heat and the Toronto Raptors.
Why would you do that? Toronto
I'm
Raptors.
trying to throw Toronto in the mix so people can be watching their games. I got Toronto too. Who you got?
Toronto.
And finally, the game of the week next week, because this is by far the best game that's going to be happening. Thursday night, November 11th, 10:30 on TNT. Golden State Warriors and the Oklahoma City Thunders.
Golden State. OKC barely beat two garbage teams. Yo, come on.
I got Golden State too. Who you got, Wolf?
I got the Thunder.
You're bugging. You're bugging.
Yo, can we have a penalty for the person who does it worse, like a forfeit?
Yeah, we'll do it at the end of the season, I guess.
All right.
All right. So yeah, that's the. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at Legend of Winner. I'm gonna try to make sure I keep up with everything that's going on and make some type of graphic or overlay so y'all understand what's going on. So when we do get to this segment of the podcast, y'all can kind of keep up and know what everybody has in their scores. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking with us since the beginning of the podcast. I've been trying to upload a video in the middle of the podcast, but apparently I can't since I'm on another device. So as soon as I get off this device, I'm gonna upload a video. Even though I know
at midnight?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna upload at midnight. Let me see. I'm gonna see how I do.
At midnight?
At midnight.
This man dropping a video at midnight.
Like I said before, shout out to everybody. Follow me on Twitter at Legend of Winning. Y'all go ahead and go say y'all closing statements.
Well, y'all already know y'all can find me on my channel, Waffleman60, if you want your Knicks information and some 2K17 stuff, mostly Knicks stuff, since the season's underway. Knicks Nation, stand up! That's it.
Cringe.
Yo, last week he was mad hype, but now he's like, this fucking team is so
Nigga, relax, nigga. It's
This
one
team's
game,
so garbage.
nigga. Calm down. Take a chill pill. Take some laxatives, man.
Yo, when you said that in the video, I was like, you're crazy.
But then listen,
thank you guys for thanks for watching, people. Watch some Raptor games. Get some Raptor games in your life. Actually, a pretty exciting team. If you guys saw DeRozan's dunk on Tristan bitch ass Thompson, that was phenomenal. Altogether, yo, yesterday I was kicking back, didn't have shit to do. Finally, I was just watching the Clipper game. Oh, like wow, I missed this. So go out there and watch you as much NBA as possible, people. And I have shit to do all night. I'm gonna catch y'all later.
All right, like they say, yo, it's a lot of games going on this next upcoming week. So make sure y'all catch the games out there. The game of the week obviously is going to be that Golden State Warriors versus OKC, because that nigga Westbrook obviously has a grudge against everybody in the NBA, but especially Kevin Durant. So we'll see how that unfolds. And when that game is going on, for sure catch me on Twitter at Legend of Winning. I'll probably be live tweeting that. But until next time, I will see y'all later. And the video, like I said, should be out in a few.
Times 4 kill Ken.